During May, I mostly continued to feel like I was on track with my JRPGs. Continuing with remote play let me pretty much finish the main game I was playing near the end of the month, and in my home time, I was able to fit in a few familiar faces and an extra great game that made me wish I still had a little bit more time. I'm glad to be continuing console JRPGs of all different kinds, especially going into more things this month, so let's get into the JRPGs I played in May. Much of my May was spent crawling roguelike dungeons in Death End Request Code Z and its 60-hour death-filled campaign. Between videos and everything else, this took up much of my month, both at home and when I was out thanks to remote play, and thanks to another good Death End story was good fun, even if its deep lore made me wish I'd brushed up on the first two games just a little. I'm currently making my review for it, so we'll save most of my thoughts for there, but will say I was happy to jump into it every day. I never felt tired of having my sanity tested the further I got, as it pumped the sound of heartbeats to show a death end was around the corner, and the times I did get them, it was cool to use what I learned to try again after some creepy chilling story. I hope other Death End Request fans try it, as it's a good continuation to an already deep story, and has me looking forward to when we see 3 and what it will bring to the greater world. With Sea of Stars Throes of the Watchmaker DLC coming out last month, I was lucky enough to receive a code to try the game, and since I'd heard a lot of good things about it, I was excited to see what it was like. Since I was starting from the start, I got nowhere near where the DLC is, as it's off to the main campaign, as much as I'd love to have soaked up its theatrical atmosphere, but in the time I had, I mostly just enjoyed its beginning moments, which I liked far more than expected. In fact, I actually considered it for JRPG of the month for a second, as I was so wowed by how pretty it was and how fascinating my small look into it was. Every single one of its detailed pixel areas looked stunning, and paired with charming dialogue and combat had me ready to try more. For more retro-inspired JRPG experiences, they generally have to be pretty good to pull me in, as I definitely prefer more modern graphics, and the charm of Sea of Stars in its first moments was the right amount to do so I'll be keen to make it a bigger part of another month in future. While I haven't tried the DLC yet, from my experience with the start of the main game and listening to what seems like a fantastic soundtrack for the DLC as I make this, I'm sure the new Throes of the Watchmaker DLC is fun, with those circus vibes added to a quaint world I want to get to know more, DLC included. I'd love to see if anyone else tried this and enjoyed this new Sea of Stars content, and what you think of the game as a whole, as it enters my backlog as a fun experience I hope to get to in full someday. After a little Yumia bleed as I played some post-game for my review, my smaller experiences time was exactly that, small. While being able to use remote play has held a lot of positives for me in making content, unfortunately the chance to throw my Switch in my bag for some extra Trails to Azure time has mostly died, although I remember doing some fun Azure mid-chapter quests just before I received Death End Code Z to keep it fresh in my mind at the very least. Since I've already received another game this month, I'm not sure if or when I'll get the chance to get to Azure this month, but I do hope to get some time, as I would like to finish it and get my gaming time down to one thing at a time again, as now I can actually play the way I want to. This sentiment was also reflected in my Resleriana time, which was nice enough to help me break my streak of having all the recipes that broke my need to log into it when it tells me to. For real this time, as I mean not even at the end of events anymore, as Resleriana Academy 2 finished and I haven't played through it. There was a sticker voting event in Japanese Res that popped up mid-month partway through my Death End Code Z journey that I was pretty invested in, but to try keep my recipe streak, I did a reluctant login to Res to try to get the ticket recipes to keep that streak going and to vote for Mari. When I opened the ingredients part to find where to gather them, it gave me a bunch of question marks, which made me realize I might not be able to do this one. The next day, hours before the event was set to finish, I remembered to check its announcement, which said I could unlock the tickets by getting into Res Academy 2's story's latter half, but at that point mentally, I'd already settled with the fact I didn't have to log in at every event, and in fact liked the feeling of not being tied down by it. So I let myself allow these recipes to slide, letting the event expiration time pass by, and I haven't logged in since, as the next time I log in, I want it to be when I'm actually playing catch up on the story. So I guess finally, after a year and a half with Res, it might not appear monthly in JRPGs I Played anymore, which might be a small shame to those wanting to live vicariously through someone still playing the Japanese version, but I also think I need my games to be things I choose my time for these days, especially now I have more ways to get that console gaming time with things like remote play and my Switch. It'll be interesting to see in June if I get that Trails time and if I truly keep my Res streak broken, and either way, I'm excited to begin this month of fun things to play. June is already underway, and I've already received one of my most anticipated games, but like any good month, there are more releases than I can play that makes for some fun gaming choices along the way. One of the biggest ones at the start of this month was the decision to buy a Switch 2 or not, which despite being tempted earlier by Switch 2 editions of games I'm keen for, I decided to hold off on, as aside from the real fact that it would be a bad financial decision for me right now, I also realized there's no exclusive I want yet. When I bought my first Switch, it was for the release of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I was able to feel good in that decision because it wasn't on anything else and meant I'd waited and had time to get my money together and never felt like I was just trying to avoid FOMO. I'm gonna try my best to keep the same energy for the Switch 2, although it's a little hard seeing some textures on my Switch in handheld right now and knowing they'd look better on the 2, but actually playing my Switch at all is almost an upgrade for me, as remote play doesn't always give that home console sharpness, so I'm gonna enjoy that playing Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma, which just came out, is gorgeous, and I'm excited to get more into. Receiving Rune Factory Azuma did mean giving Bravely Default Switch version a miss, also once I realized it wasn't a Switch 2 exclusive, and since I'm currently making videos, I'm not sure how long Rune Factory Azuma will take me, although it does seem maybe possible within the month from what I've heard. If I get lucky from that, well, I'll still be happy to be playing or making videos about my Azuma time when Raidou Remastered comes out on the 19th. I would love to have a little free time to explore Persona 5 The Phantom X when it drops, not to get into another smartphone game because we all know how that goes, but just to see how it feels as a fan of the Persona series. Things feel like they're going at a good pace this year with new releases, things to strive for, and an endless supply of games to play. I hope you're all having fun on whatever console you're enjoying things on at the moment, and hope we'll all have another fun month of enjoying good games. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in May and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!